A lot of these people you're watching these tours, they didn't know what they were doing. They watched another person who built their first bus. They don't know what they're doing either. This ain't my first time. I've used all kinds of different plywoods, all kinds of different oils, every kind of toilet, different types of solar. So we're grateful for all of the experiences we've had, or it wouldn't look like this. Hi, I'm Isaac.
I'm Jaylenna, and this is our daughter Ember.
And this is our 29-foot school bus that we turned into a tiny home. 1998 Bluebird 5.9 12 valve. The older rigs have way better motors. There's less electronics, there's less sensors to go out. So I always go old school. The exterior of the bus, we use automotive paint. We ended up doing these stripes. These are just rattle cans. One of the things I like to do is switch all the lighting out to LEDs and just kind of modernize it. Skoolie.com just came out with these off-road LEDs integrated in the plate, and it's nice. This is just made to handle an extension cord. Attaches to a 40-amp battery charger. We got a 25-gallon gray water tank, manual release in case the electric gets messed up. This is the exhaust for our propane Propex heater. We do have our propane tanks mounted underneath, and these are sitting on Skoolie.com brackets that are made just to attach right to a bus. I love having a back door on a bus, and I love doing the fixed bed like this because I want all the storage under here. So this is our 100-gallon water tank over here. I got the water pump kind of mounted up on the bed. So the water pump actually sucks the water up and over to the water heater and to the system. Just, again, trying to preserve as much of this usable space because it comes in handy so much versus just having stuff in the middle of your rig. Our water fill is right here. This is a pressurized system. Literally couldn't get a gravity fill to fit. So the water comes underneath the bus, up and over into the tank. And then it is a little dangerous. People are hating on me a little bit because if you don't vent it right, you can actually blow the tank up. But as long as you do it right, you can be all right. We did delete a lot of the school bus windows. Skoolie.com makes these. You take the window out, you take a dimension, and then you send it in, and they just send you this piece of steel, and then you just caulk it up. And I do it all before paint, so when I paint the bus, it all matches. We did understorage literally as much as we could. They're just buyer's boxes off of Amazon. I wasn't sure how we were gonna attach them. Talked to one dude, he was like, dude, stainless steel rivets. They hold like 2,000 pounds of rivet. It took like what takes some people a week, maybe 2 hours for me to install them. This is our diesel heater situation. This is just an access door to fill the tank, and then this is the exhaust, and we use a flat boat exhaust versus having the muffler hanging down here. This is what I like to call the Skoolie home door conversion. I just take some C-channel steel, and then I stick some bolts through here, and I use rubber washers out here to waterproof it, and I just cut it there, and then it just swings free, just like a normal house door.
All right, let's head to the inside of the bus.
This video is sponsored by Nova. This is possibly the best portable power station that you can buy for around $200. Experience the outdoors like never before with the Nova ETA portable power station. This powerhouse offers you an unrivaled 288 watt-hour capacity with a robust 600 watt output power. High output power means it can cater to more devices, setting you free from limitations of lesser brands. Infused with the safer and more efficient LiPo4 batteries, you get 6 times longer lifespan and reduced maintenance costs. Fast charge it to 80% in a single hour and enjoy the whisper quiet operations. Take advantage of the highest discount since Nova's launch and uncover a new dimension to your adventures. Click the link in the description and use code INNERNOVA08 for an extra 5% off. Shop now and witness performance redefined. And remember to subscribe.
When Isaac and I met, we both had smaller rigs. We started dating, and when Ember came along, we needed a bigger rig.
We went into the bus buying process looking very, very specifically for a Bluebird flat nose 5.9 12 valve. When you're looking for something very rare, it's not like you're just gonna go downtown and go pick it up, right? You gotta find it. So we got super lucky. We bought the bus, took it to a mechanic, paid the mechanic a bunch of money to make sure it was solid, and on the way home from the mechanic, the motor blew. That was our entire budget for the build. Not only did we lose the bus for months sitting at the mechanic, we lost all the money to build it out. So I ended up having to build another bus to sell to make the money to even build this thing. When I'm doing a build out, I never plan too much. I always go into something like this with the basic idea of where things are gonna go and what things are gonna be. And then I let the build determine the details itself. If we're guesstimating, I think this is a $30,000 build, including the bus. And we're not planning on selling it ever.
Yeah, this is kind of our forever home. This is our entryway here. That's real tile with real grout, and then we just glued the tiles on. We didn't use mortar. We do have a shoe rack here. This is kind of like a junk rack on the top. And we each have a designated pair of slippers that we wear inside the bus, so we try and keep it as clean as possible.
So this is all pretty much stock. Up here, we did take all those skins down and redid it with wood and the shiplap pine to match the ceiling. And then where you see these cork boards, you have access holes to the wires. And then I reinforced the back here where the TV mount is. And this actually unclips and swings out. And then I replaced the school bus fan with this fancy little 360 fan, which I have all throughout the build. And this is the original switch panel that we kind of rewired. And I put the off-road LEDs here, I put our markers here. This is our DC to DC charger to our electrical system. I installed a switch so I can manually turn it on and off, and I installed a switch so I could cut it in half. So instead of a 60 amp DC to DC, it turns into a 30 amp. Just more control to make sure things are good. This is our love seat section, right? We knew we had to do a car seat. Skoolie.com makes a seatbelt bracket made out of steel that you bolt through the floor of the bus, bolts to the frame. The wheel well is like literally that big, and it's this tall. So I built this platform that's actually sitting on the wheel well, and I knew that I needed to fit my electrical in this space. It's just a 60 amp charge controller to 600 watts of solar on the roof, the 60 amp DC to DC charger, and then we also have the shore power port, which attaches to this 40 amp lithium battery charger, a 3000 watt inverter, and then I actually have the battery bank hidden over there. This is cane webbing, creates ventilation, and we have 800 amp hours of lithium power, and then I built the kitchen around the battery bank, if that makes sense.
We did a huge cedar live edge slab countertop, smallest area you can buy. Really nice to have a quick cup of coffee. Rec Pro stove, it has 3 burners on top, and then this glass cover comes down so that we don't lose any counter space. Kind of a bigger sink, it's pretty deep, love that. Our faucet pulls down like that, and then we can also swivel that outside so we can have an outdoor shower or whatever we want right there. Underneath our little switch here for our gray tank. Our open shelves are not as tall as we would like them to be because this bus is just a little more round on top. Just all of our dishes and baby food, and as you go down, it's more like food and stuff like that. These are automatic locking handles. We don't ever have to worry about our drawers flying open when we drive. Above the fridge, spices and other food. We have a freezer and a refrigerator. Also, Rec Pro came with this little lock here so that when we're driving, it holds the doors closed, which is great. So this is actually made for RVs. This is our closet. On top we have hanging storage, and then Isaac and I each have our own drawer. Mine is like super packed compared to his. In our bedroom we each have an open shelf on each side of the bed. This is a full-size bed, and we still had room at the end to put a storage box that also has plenty of USB as well as 110 and USB-C.
So we did a split bathroom, right? I did not want to have to pull the toilet out every single time. Stall is framed with 3/4 plywood. A lot of people are doing 2x3s, 2x2s. You lose a lot of space that way. We use RedGuard to waterproof, and then we use Dumawall, which is like a PVC tile. This is the first time I've used it in a build. I don't think I'll ever use anything else. And then we have a stainless steel shower pan that's custom made for this space. We set the temperature at the hot water tank, and then I just put this drop valve on here. I attach a hose, I put a head on it, and then I just have an on-off valve right here. Works fantastic. The Nautilus retractable shower door, a 6-inch dome fan in here. It does have this light attached to it. We did put another light in here, and I don't think it's necessary. Knowing what I know now, that light was plenty. And then we have the composting toilet. That's an Ogo composting toilet. We actually bought a Nature's Head for this bus. I hate having a urine tank inside. I want to go to my gray tank And I was looking up videos and like, you gotta rig all this stuff up to have the urine divert from the nature's head. And I was like, man, found this company. You can buy a urine diversion kit right off their website, made for it, hooks right up. But the thing that absolutely sold me on it was I can pull the number 2 part out and go empty it. I don't ever have to move the whole toilet out. And then I can just put it back when I clean it. I don't know, I like it. I think it's worth it.
So this is our daughter's room and her space. I think the size of a normal like RV bunk. We have this really, really cool baby gate that just slides up and down. We keep all of her changing stuff up here, a little book nook. And then we also have this huge drawer for Ember. And we just keep extra diapers and wipes, blankets, towels, just anything for her. Down here, we actually keep our litter box. This is just a little door and then they have their little cat entry. Super easy.
Anybody who's ever built a bus, owns a bus, or thinking about converting a bus, the hatches leak. All of them. We use this boat hatch to replace it, and then we use this Skoolie.com plate to kind of make up for the concave. This is a 12-volt AC. I know people that have installed them and say it's kind of gimmicky and doesn't really work, so I don't know. We installed it, it works. I can't tell you if it's great or not. Not yet, maybe next time. This is a tiny wood stove. It's a dwarf 4K. So a lot of people put a wood stove in thinking this is their sole heat source. It's really hard, and the harder it is, you're not gonna use as much, which means you're going to be colder. We have a diesel heater. Press a button, you got heat. We have a thermostat controlled Propex propane heater. Press a button, you got heat. We use those most of the time. But you know, when I wanna cut some wood and we're gonna slow down, and it's nice to have this option.
This couch actually pulls out into a full-size bed. These 500-pound sliders have a lock, and so you just hold the lock down, put this handle here, and it just comes out. And yeah, we have a full-size bed. Really nice to have. Super glad that we made it. A lot of people told us that we couldn't raise a baby in a bus. What's the difference? This bus is honestly bigger than some apartments in certain places, and people do it all the time. It's still a home, it's still a house, you just move it. We have everything that we could possibly need, and that's a huge misconception in my opinion.